When I'm not avoiding Florida's 100-degree weather and hurricanes to move to Southern California, which also now has 100-degree weather and hurricanes, I like to answer questions and comments that I get on YouTube, so let's get to it. Glad I found this video, mate. I need a new desktop for music recording. I use Reaper DAW and several plugins like Neural DSP. Would you say the 8 gigs of RAM with the M2 chip is sufficient, or would you try and say it pays to go up to 16 gigs of RAM? Yeah, so when I made the move to Southern California, I have my main rig back in Florida at the main studio, and out here I got the M2 Mac Mini, and I got the base model because I made a video about it if it would be enough just for music production. I've had it for 6 months, and here's what I've learned so far. For what I personally use it for, everything is great at the base model with the exception of needing an external hard drive. Luckily, I work with Sweetwater all the time, and Sweetwater also sells hard drives, so they sent me a LaCie One Big Dock Thunderbolt 3. It's like a 4 terabyte drive that actually has a bunch of peripherals because, you know, if you get a Mac Mini, I think the big positive of it is that you can just kind of stash it somewhere and store it. I have it just kind of like deep in like the desk back pocket, so I don't have access to any of the USB things. So the nice thing about the LaCie is you can actually just plug stuff in on the front of it, or there's actually another USB-C on the back of it that you can use aside from the one that you connect to the computer. So aside from just being a great hard drive, you can also use it as a hub, which I think is like something that you actually need to have if you get the Mac Mini. Now, the whole point of that video is to be like, all right, do I upgrade the base model? Because the base model is like the best deal in tech, actually. And then they really start kind of dinging you for the upgrades, okay? So aside from the ports, the reason that you need a hard drive is because the base model doesn't have enough space for absolutely everything. That's why I didn't get this for video editing. I still edit video on my MacBook Pro laptop. That thing is a beast, but video files take up way more room than audio files, okay? So just being able to store sample libraries on the hard drive is key, so I don't have to use that taking up the native space on the actual computer. But as far as the CPU goes, that thing is awesome. I've never ever had a slowdown, and in fact, my buddy Brian came over and did a test to see if some other people in his sound design company would be able to use it. And if you want to upgrade the RAM, it just depends on what kind of stuff you're going to be recording. So I really like to do mostly analog recording, so I don't really have a huge need for the giant VST instrument plugins. All the plugins that I still use some really powerful plugins, but those don't take up like a lot of like RAM space, you know, relatively speaking, depending on how big your projects and stuff are. What's really going to eat up that space are going to be giant VST libraries like orchestra libraries or like giant drum sample-based kit libraries, which I personally don't use a lot. Most of the plug-in instruments that I use are synths, like the Arturia synth set. And those have been fine. I've never, ever had an issue. So from my personal experience, the Mac Mini base model with the hard drive upgraded, the external hard drive upgrade from LaCie, has been absolutely amazing. I'll have affiliate links to all this stuff in the description. But yeah, huge game changer as far as just being able to have a music-only machine, right? Again, you know, if you do have to do video editing and stuff, it is a little bit of a different story. You probably want the extra space and RAM and stuff. But music only, I'm a huge fan of that Mac Mini. Like I said, get the hub, get the hard drive, and then just have at it, make some music. Yes, yes, yes. May we have more like this, please. Switching keys is essentially what makes a song shine and stand out. After your Circle of Fifths did last week, it's really expanded the way that I think of songwriting. This is so cool. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, so I do think that I'm going to lean a little bit more into the songwriting stuff. That's been doing pretty good as of late. I was just at the Martin Factory and watched some of those videos. I'll link some of those videos in the description too, because that was such a transformative experience being there with my friends last week. Huge thanks to Martin for having me out there. And I don't know, just being around all the history of the museum and the factory and all like the iconic guitars that I got to like play and check out really just kind of made me glad that like songwriting is kind of the foundation of this channel. So yeah, I think going forward, I'm definitely gonna keep doing a lot of my own music as far as just kind of breaking it down, using them for lesson examples, gear demos, and stuff like that. So I would really love to do more of that stuff, but I would love it if you guys had questions for me that I could kind of focus some of the videos around, because I always lose perspective of what's easy for me or might be hard for others, or what's hard for me but might be easy for others. So please let me know in the comments what kind of stuff that you want to keep seeing, because that is such a big driver of just what I do on this channel. And you know, at the risk of me just always kind of being in my own head and having lessons and stuff and videos get stale, really appreciate anybody that comments and kind of, you know, gives feedback to whatever it is that I'm doing. So keep that coming. Sean, I'm a synth lord. Abigail, you're the worst Tinder date ever. Another new thing that might be in addition to this channel is just having Tinder dates where I show them synth demos, which is really some next level YouTubing. So if you missed that one, you should definitely check it out. I had a pretty fun time rewatching that, aside from just doing it in the moment. So good stuff. Completely unnecessary. You carry around everything you need without knowing it. I don't have a YouTube channel, but probably should start one because it's stupid simple, and once you see it, you'll have it forever. I do like a lot of the salty comments that are like, you know what? This sucks. If I had a YouTube channel, I would explain it way better, and I would be so successful, and I'd be so cool. But guess what? You don't, because you're a loser and you don't have the ability to follow up on your plans. That's the hardest thing about doing YouTube, is actually making videos and putting them up there. So, you know, YouTube is the best in a lot of things. There's some information out there that maybe isn't, you know, the highest caliber, but I always try to do my best to explain things to the best of my ability. But still, there's always going to be salty people out there who could have done it better, but just never ever will, because it's so hard to meet the threshold of making and posting a YouTube video. 555, that was so clean. So this is in one of those Martin videos I was talking about, where my buddy Samurai Guitarist was ripping off some bluegrass licks, and I think bluegrass is going to be something that I want to get into. Please tell me where I should start with either bluegrass music, anything aside from Billy Strings and Molly Tuttle, because I'm somewhat familiar with them. I kind of want to get more into it. Either listening or maybe good places to learn it, because I would love to do more bluegrass stuff. That was another big takeaway from the Martin thing, is just kind of like how steeped in tradition a lot of that stuff is. And the only bluegrass lick I know is like... it's like, that's it. But I would love to actually get somewhat fake competent at bluegrass guitar. So aside from the songwriting stuff going forward, I do think that I want to maybe spend some time with bluegrass guitar. So any of your recommendations would really help me out. I appreciate it. So for listening homework this week, I'm going to throw you to singer-songwriter Gregory Alan Isaacoff. Just had the pleasure of seeing him live in Los Angeles a few days ago. Amazing. Band was great. He sounded fantastic. I feel like the threshold of live sound quality has really gone up in the last couple of years, because it sounded like album quality. It was in like the Ace Theater, which is like a super cool venue. But again, he's got some really, really awesome songs. I'm going to link you to a song called Amsterdam, which I think is really good. And yeah, thanks for watching. Definitely check out that LaCie hard drive. Thank you to Sweetwater for sponsoring the video. As always, the best. Anything you get it through my Sweetwater link. That would really help me continue to survive out here. Much appreciated, guys. And if you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comment section, Instagram, the website. I'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks a lot.